Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, 8 o'clock on Friday. Time for Case's movie review. And Jenny checked in from Lombard, said this is her favorite Sylvester Stallone movie. It is time for First Blood. We'll get into it. Thanks for listening in Lombard. And let's go. Case's movie review.
For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and we will be open for business.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
Utah. Give me 2.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand.
Now fry like bacon, you little freshman piggies. Fry! Fry!
Playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
Well, a conversation from last week about the announcement of a Rambo or First Blood prequel being made by Sylvester Stallone, not starring in it, but being made by it, led to this point where we're doing a classic. First Blood today, released October 22nd, 1982, with a budget of $15 million. The box office did $125.2 million. Good take for that. I can imagine in rewatchable stuff how much it's really earned. So on the review aggregator website, Rotten Tomatoes has an 86% approval rating based on 49 reviews with an average rating of 7.2 out of 10. In 2015, Rolling Stone ranked the movie at number 7 on a 10 best action movies of all time. That's pretty awesome. Principal photography on a First Blood prequel, as we talked about, began January 29th, 2026. Stallone's involved, but not acting in it. And just a reminder before we get into this, next week, we have special because we have our broadcast Thursday. We like to do a review on site. So Case reviews Field of Dreams live at Almost Home Tavern and Grill for Cubs home opening day. And then on Friday, he reviews The Outsiders for its 43rd anniversary. This is classic after classic after classic are going
I
into
like this
here.
little run we're on.
It's a good run.
Then we're doing Heat the week after. We're going to reheat.
I'll be gone.
Yes.
I can't. I'm going to be off. I'm going to lay down right now.
Heat and then Tombstone again.
They did announce another Heat movie.
They did.
We can do that.
Kenzie, come over and watch Tombstone with me.
I honestly almost killed myself when I watched it. It was the worst thing I'd ever seen.
All right, let's not get sidetracked on Tombstone again. We can't do that.
That's Kenzie's review.
Bad.
Let's stay with First Blood. I love this movie to death, and let's start how it was advertised with the trailer. This is October 22nd, 1982, how First Blood was promoted.
John Rambo was just passing through town, but they had nothing better to do.
You're looking for trouble. You came to the right place, buddy.
They didn't know how far he would go. They didn't know he had been trained for survival.
We're right on top of them. Keep moving. There's no way out of here except through us.
They didn't know they had started a war that they could never win. Sylvester Stallone in First Blood, from the best-selling novel.
All right, that trailer tells how it is. And just how I said, this is a guy that, the hillbilly cops messed with the wrong guy and got what they deserved. That's almost the trailer. That's almost what I said. This trailer was accurate.
I really don't want to be in a position where in this movie review I say, quote, the cops got what they deserved.
Well, these hillbilly cops did.
They might have got what they deserved.
They did. So, Case, you watched First Blood for the first time, and is this your second Sylvester Stallone movie?
We've done Rocky 1, Rocky 3, and that feels like that's been plenty of Stallone. I can't imagine I've done another one.
No, it's not, because First Blood, here we go. What'd you think of First Blood?
First Blood, I'll start with an analogy, which sometimes I try to start off funny. I'll start with an analogy this time around.
Sometimes start out funny.
Only sometimes.
Rare. It's like Santa once a year. Give it a go.
But this is not funny. This is just an analogy.
Oh, never mind.
No, just grab your notebook, grab a pen. First Blood is the Born in the USA of action movies, meaning that Born in the USA has been misinterpreted over time to be this great patriotic anthem, even though it's a song that takes umbrage with the American way of life, I would say. Is that a fair assessment of that song?
100%.
Yes.
It's an government song. And people, and the government, the president's running, use the song.
They love it.
To use it, hey, Born in the USA, go out and vote.
I was born here.
Not like you.
Wrong interpretation of the song.
I have been under the impression for the 27 years that I've been on Earth, and of course, discovering Rambo, the character, was my earliest memory, so it's been a very long time since I've had this person in my life. I was always under the impression that Rambo was like a meathead, machine gun firing, Neanderthal who people that drive Hummers and lifted pickup trucks use as sort of a Mary Magdalene type figure.
Wow.
Okay.
Little did I know.
Yeah.
Rambo's a victim.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a victim of police brutality. He's a victim of the system. He's a victim of the Vietnam War. I feel awful for this guy.
Yeah, been through a lot.
Yeah, I would say so.
He just was coming into town. Just nice day, good weather.
Yeah, First Blood, an anti-war movie to show, and probably the first time, one of the first things to ever mention this came out in '82 about PTSD, and a lot of our listeners who have served, this stuff. It's the first time you saw it on film like this, and it's powerful.
It really is. I said this about Rocky 3 because when we did Rocky 1, I said it's a guy that has CTE. And it's just really like you watch Rocky 1 and you go, thank God we've lived in the time with the medical advancements that we have. Rocky 3 to me is such a profound movie that touches on so many interesting subjects. And I'm very glad that I watched it. I think about Rocky 3 a lot. I was not expecting this movie to be as deep as it was or to be in some ways as impactful as it was. While it might have birthed a lot of like, hey, let's shoot a movie where we fire a bunch of guns at people, this movie has a point and it has something to say, and I think that's really interesting. I was not expecting First Blood to be the movie that it was, if that makes sense.
Completely.
Totally.
And because the sequels kind of turned into it still was the anti-war movies, but they blew up into blockbuster movies. This was not a blockbuster. It's almost an indie movie like Rocky was. It feels like that.
An anti-war indie movie.
It kind of feels like that.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey.
So for those that haven't seen the movie, here's literally what happens in the first 5 minutes. Rambo is minding his GD business, walking down the street.
Could it be doing so more?
Not
all caps.
Yeah, he's not loitering. He's not stealing. He's walking down the street. And the town sheriff goes, I'm going to make a problem out of this guy. And the town sheriff accosts him. And is like, what are you doing in my part of town, boy? He's like, I'm looking for something to eat. Because that's, how Stallone talks. And then within the course of a few minutes, the sheriff drives him past the county line. He drives him literally out of town. And then when Rambo is like, well, I want to be in this town, I'm going to walk back, he's arrested.
Yeah.
He's arrested for walking.
Yeah, I don't want you to go too far
and
over.
Supporting local businesses.
Yeah, because he does want something to eat, Kenzie. He says, like, I'm just looking for something to eat.
Oh, look at the size of him. Of course he's starving.
And by the way, Brian Dennehy playing that sheriff was the dad in Tommy Boy. He was Chris Farley's dad in Tommy Boy as
Always
well.
a problem. Always a problem.
Well, it was fun in that one, but certainly not fun in this movie.
No, not fun.
And he basically says, we don't want your kind around a Vietnam veteran who's trying to get a meal.
I was like, am I watching Boys in the Hood all of a sudden? Like, it's the same temperament with those police officers in Compton.
And he says, get in the car. I'll make sure you know where you're going. Drives him out of town and says, walk to Seattle or something. From there. I don't know where the hell they are. They're like in Oregon or something.
They're in the Pacific Northwest.
He could have at least dropped him off at a restaurant in another town.
Yeah, at least, thank you. At least drop him at McDonald's.
He
said he wanted
solved
food.
the problem. He wouldn't have come back.
It's not like Sean Kemp's hanging around the corner. It's like, yeah, you'll be in Seattle. It's like, I don't see the Supersonics anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't see Ichiro.
And they're in mountains. I'm going to walk to Seattle? Is there a bus station here I can find?
Please.
And some food before I get on there.
Hey, you're in a car. Why don't you take me to Seattle if you want me there so badly?
I can't get over, I'm sorry, the small businesses, like local businesses, like, we don't want your kind. Like, we would love him to come in here, like, sitting there, like, one person in their cafe dying for another customer.
Yeah,
Nope.
The little Hick town probably had, like, the town drunk in there.
You don't have to
eating
keep
some eggs.
throwing in. The town didn't do anything.
Well, even the guy said, he goes, you don't want to be here. It's just a boring town.
He's like, I'd like to keep my town this way.
Yeah, which I wouldn't vote for a guy that wants to keep my town boring, which is what he said he wants to do.
I want like a cool sheriff.
Yeah.
I want a sheriff that's going to party with me.
Can we have some keggers or
Come on,
something?
can we have a Borg? Imagine if Rambo had a
He
Borg.
definitely does not allow Borgs. Strict.
That's Rambo's problem. He doesn't have a Borg with him.
Yeah, I mean, this opening scene that sets the tone here is Brian Denny. It just really does. Like, you go, and you have no idea how bad it's going to get still at this point when they arrest him. Because then the other hillbilly cops, they really don't like Rambo.
So that's the opening scene. I believe we have to take a break.
We'll take a break because there's a lot to unpack here.
The rest of the movie. The rest of First Blood coming up.
So stay here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're in the middle of Case's movie review for Friday, First Blood. And it was released October 22nd, 1982. And we left off just with the opening scene of the movie where the sheriff basically says, like, we don't like the way you look. We don't like you. And why don't you get out of town and walk to Seattle instead of getting a meal here at our local great diner. Don't do that. So that's where we left off in the review.
So thank God, if you're just joining us, we have the rest of the movie to talk about. We've only talked about the opening scene. You haven't missed much.
And also for you must have loved it because I think this movie's only an hour and a half.
Hour and a half long. The original movie, when it was first filmed, they had 3 hours worth of footage.
Whoa!
And they made Rambo like a cool talking comeback, sort of almost like comic book hero.
Oh.
And so Sylvester Stallone saw the cut of the movie, and he and his agent tried to buy the movie so they could burn the film reels so that nobody could see it.
Wow.
And when they weren't allowed to do that, they said, okay, well, at the very least, let's make some edits. And they took out most of Rambo's dialogue in the movie, which I think was incredibly beneficial.
God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Thank God, because Stallone was a co-writer of the screenplay as well, and probably didn't want that.
No, he didn't want a movie that would ruin his career, no.
Yeah, and also
that'd be tough. It's a bummer.
And also have some kind of catchy line when he blows somebody away.
Yeah, exactly.
Would
leave that for Schwarzenegger. That's Hasta La Vista, baby.
Yeah. Okay, so where do you go from here, Case?
So we've got to go to Rambo getting arrested and then being beat in prison. He's a victim of police brutality. He's a victim of the Vietnam War. He's a victim of the American prison system. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Luckily, he breaks out of prison because he's been wrongfully imprisoned. And even more luckily, he steals a motorcycle. He's so badass riding through town. It's the Indiana part of me, being born and raised in Indiana. When I see either A, a monster truck, or B, a guy on a dirt bike, I go, well, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I love that. Yeah. And so he ramps over a bridge in town.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible. It looks like Ricky Carmichael's out there. He's flying through the city.
I know he's been trained in all kinds of ways to kill people, like 800 different ways to kill somebody. I can't believe part of his Army training was on a dirt bike. Because he rides a dirt bike like he'd win the X Games.
You gotta get around fast.
It's unreal.
I know you guys are in Vietnam, and it's been a long war. The good news is, long weekend. X Games are on ESPN. Everybody turn it on. We're gonna watch Brian Deegan do some backflips real quick.
Oh, and the guys driving the cars can't do anything in their cars, in their cop cars. They have no training.
The stunt double that jumped the cop car over the bridge broke his back jumping the car because he got so much air, and when they crashed down, his spine basically imploded.
Oh my God.
And they're like, all right, get him out of the shot. Stallone, walk over to somebody carry him out of here.
They're carrying a bag of bones, and then they put Stallone on the bike.
And Stallone gets all the credit. He's amazing.
Oh my, wow, great fact.
So Rambo ends up in the woods, and this is when he starts killing those police officers that wrongly imprisoned him. He does it in a really cool and badass way. He does at one point throw a rock at somebody that is in a helicopter, and it causes them to fall out of the helicopter. I would say the cinematography in that scene doesn't age awesome. It looks very 1982, but I'm on board. I'm going along. I like seeing Rambo get justice. It's nice to see.
It looked real. I mean, it looked like that helicopter. That's what I mean.
I watch it again. I'm not sure it looks super real.
I just never understood why the guy didn't land the helicopter or jump out when it got low, and because he had a gun and Rambo didn't. So why don't you get on the ground and shoot him instead of trying to be in a helicopter?
You're cocky when you have the gun.
I guess.
Well,
stupid.
Luckily for them, there were a bunch of other police officers that had guns, and after Rambo, you got to remember this. This is a half hour into the movie. Rambo tries to surrender. He comes out, hands up, and says, I don't have a gun, I surrender. How do the police respond? They shoot him.
Oof. Bad. That age is bad.
That age is bad. I think it was bad then, Brian.
That happened all the time.
No one thought it was justified at the
Different
time.
We shot unarmed people all the time. Everybody's fine with it.
It was an awkward scene because he's saying, I didn't do anything, and he has his hands up, and they're like, they're loading all their guns. Like, they're going to take him out. And he's like, no, I'm surrendering. Aren't you hearing me? And then they shoot him in the ear or something like that.
And then they shoot him in the ear.
Of all things, they shot him in the ear. Like, ow!
Oh, he's not going to be able to hear rock music anymore. That sucks. So it's at this point where we really get to see just how evil the deputy is. And it's interesting because around this time in the movie is when Troutman comes in, who's from the National Guard. This is why we're doing this review, is that Brian couldn't get the line right when we were talking about the body bags last week. I don't have that audio, but I do have the audio of the deputy and Troutman talking when Troutman gets introduced to the movie. You have to hear just how disrespectful and disengaged the police officer is when a guy comes to their small town to try to help.
Never possessed God in heaven to make a man like Rambo.
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
Who the hell are you?
Sam Trotman. Colonel Samuel Trotman.
Look, we're a little busy this morning, Colonel. What can I do for you?
I've come to get my boy.
Your boy?
I recruited him. I trained him. I commanded him in Vietnam for 3 years. I'd say that makes him mine.
I wonder why the Pentagon would send a full-bird colonel down here to handle this.
The Army thought I might be able to help.
Well, I don't know in what way. Rambo's a civilian now. He's my problem.
I don't think you understand. I didn't come here to rescue Rambo from you. I came here to rescue you from him.
Well, we all appreciate your concern, Colonel. And we'll try to be extra careful.
At this point, multiple of his men have died by way of Rambo.
Yeah, but he hasn't, so who gives it out?
If I was...
That's a risk he's willing to make.
I mean, if I was... Yeah, Brian Dennehy, the sheriff, and the colonel came in and said, I made this guy what I'm trying to save you from him, I'd say, please help me. This guy's wild.
This guy's weird.
this guy's weird.
There's something about it that I don't
and
like.
Get him out of my town. I don't really like him here.
Yeah, get him on to Seattle somehow. Just get him out of here. He rode a dirt bike like he win the X Games. This guy, and he also took out all my deputies, tied one to a tree, and put like a wire on his neck.
One came out of a helicopter. Yeah. Oh, this is crazy.
Please help me.
I think of the Mount Rushmore of movie villains of the 2 years now. This is the 92nd movie I reviewed for the show. I think the Mount Rushmore of evil people is the mayor from Jaws.
Misunderstood.
Yep. No, not misunderstood.
Not him. Bane is misunderstood. Mayor from Jaws, John Voight in Varsity Blues. He's evil.
Totally evil.
And racist.
Yeah.
The brother in La Bamba.
Oh, my. Really? He's lovable, though, Bob.
Not my first, won't be my last.
I love Bob.
And the deputy in Rambo. I think those are the four most evil people in the history of the world.
That certainly could stand up.
Yeah, so this movie, it's mostly action. I would not call it all action. I think the movie slows down about an hour in after they shoot a grenade launcher at Rambo and he winds up.
What did he catch it in his mouth? I forget.
And by the way, that's the National Guard that comes in.
Yes.
Who also disobey all the rules of engagement.
Who shoot a civilian.
He's in a cave and he goes like, give me the grenade launcher. The guy's worried about his golf trip or something the next week.
He's like, I got to go to the office tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's actually very funny.
He's like, come on, let's just blow him up and get out of here.
So they try to blow him up. Rambo escapes. He falls down like a mine shaft. That's when the movie slows down a little bit because there's not really a B story in this movie. There's exactly one woman in the movie. It's the person that Rambo speaks to in the opening scene before he even gets harassed by the cops. There's no love interest. There's no romantic angle, which is fine. The movie doesn't need it. But when Rambo is in the mine shaft, the police and the National Guard and everybody are going, where'd that guy go? Is he dead or what's the deal? Everybody just sort of stands around in this movie for about 20 minutes and nothing really happens. And I was like, well, is he dead or what? Can we move on? What's going on? Are we cleaning up? Are we tearing down? What's going on?
Getting some lunch?
Yeah, exactly. That's when the movie slows down. After that, things pick back up when Rambo has a really low-speed car chase in the army Jeep that he steals. Because the Jeep doesn't move that quickly.
No.
When he wrecks a cop car from it, and then you get this big explosive finale with all of this fire and all of this gunfire. And it's very interesting. We have the audio of I want to keep calling him Rocky, of Rambo talking to the man that made him, and he says something really interesting about how valuable he was in Vietnam and how hard it is to adjust back to civilian life.
It was a bad time for everyone, Rambo. It's all in the past now.
For you! For me, civilian life is nothing. In the field, we had a code of honor. You watch my back, I watch yours. Back here, there's nothing.
You're the last of an elite group. Don't end it like this.
Back there, I could fly a gunship. I could drive a tank. I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Back here, I can't even hold a job. Guys! Ah!
Yeah, this is so real, and it's the only time, like you said, he talks this much in a row. He doesn't talk much in the whole movie.
It's really real. It's really interesting dialogue. It's the part of this movie that I like, in the same way that I like Rocky III, because yes, Mr. T is really funny in it, and yes, it tells an interesting, the action, the boxing, and it's really interesting. I think Rocky III tells a really interesting story, and I think this movie, when there is dialogue, when there is Rambo dialogue, I think it tells a really interesting story. And while I do think Stallone is dialing it up to about 17, and he could dial it back to about 9 in that scene. The dialogue is a little much.
Hey, have you ever heard of a crash out? I think it's fair that he has one after being arrested wrongfully, beaten in prison, and then trying to be murdered for God. I would crash out as well. He's crashing out, Case. How dare you?
It's crazy that all of this takes place in one day.
It's a bad day.
They had no idea what they were in store for that
He's acting
morning.
ridiculous. There's no ridiculous response to that day. None.
Fair point.
At one point in that hole before the crash out there, he blows up a car dealer lot.
He does.
I always thought that was funny because I visit a car dealer guy goes, "What did I do? I would have sold him a car to get to Seattle. I'd have got him out of here okay. I could have got him a good
sandwich.
I could have got him good financing. It would have been great. I'm very military friendly for vets. I would have got him a car. Instead, Rainbow blows up all his cars, which I can imagine in a town like that, you're not going to see anymore. That car lot's gone. They're done.
That's gone. I'm going to give my review, my rating in a second, but since you brought that up, one of the things that I noticed in that scene is after Rambo blows up the car lot and everything's on fire, the town is on fire, the deputy takes he has like a PA system.
Yeah.
And he says that everybody needs to clear the streets, but I don't understand why they have a PA system hooked up to the entire town.
Very weird. Yeah.
Do we have that?
I don't think we have it here in Chicago. I don't think so. I mean, now, I guess that's the way they told, if there was a tornado coming.
They didn't have emails.
Sirens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 82.
You couldn't do a group
And
email.
it's a small town. It's probably one speaker.
That there was one speaker, and everybody was like, I should go inside.
Yeah.
Rambo's here.
I mean, usually he's just talking about a flower show this weekend on the PA system, but now he's telling me there's a Vietnam vet with PTSD killing everybody in town.
It's going to ruin my dinner reservations.
And he's not going to talk about the car lot. The guy just lost his business.
That's really tough. Well, Rambo is what I would call First Blood is a very good movie. It's not a great movie. It's not in the Pantheon. It's not in the Mount Rushmore. It's not my favorite Stallone movie. But I do think it's very good. And I think if you've never seen it, maybe you're somebody like me and my sensibilities, which, first of all, I apologize for. But if you're like me and my sensibilities, you've sort of written First Blood off as this is like a bro-y action movie. They're going to glorify war. They're going to glorify violence. All these things that I personally am not interested in. I would recommend giving First Blood a shot. I think this movie's really interesting. And I think much like Born in the USA, as time has gone on, we've completely misinterpreted what this movie is about. As a result...
I agree.
As a result, and in tribute to the reason we're doing this, which is Brian not being able to get the body bags line right, we will rate First Blood out of body bags.
Hell yes.
Well, I hope you have a lot of them.
Good one. Good memory, Kenzie.
Funny. Good job. Hey, that was funny. You should do that more.
That's good.
7 body bags out of 10 for First Blood.
There you go. First Blood with Brian and Kenzie on Q101, Case's Movie Review.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.